Before we begin, subscribe and leave a like. Your small gesture helps this story go further. Where are you listening from? This is the story I've never told anyone. Not my therapist, not my friends, not the million people who listen to my podcast every week. This is about the night I became invisible, about a father who chose silence, and about learning that family is a choice, not an obligation. My name is Ethan Carter. I'm 35. I run a podcast called Unsaid Truths, where I help people cut ties with toxic families. Ironic, right? I've spent a decade teaching people to heal from wounds I never actually closed myself. But today that changes. Today I'm telling you what really happened, and I need you to stay with me, because the ending isn't what you think. December 22nd, 1998. I was 15 years old, dinner table. My father Robert, my stepmother Victoria, my half-brother Tyler, age 11, and me. Victoria carved the turkey like she was slicing through something soft and helpless. She didn't even look at me when she said it. Robert and I have decided Christmas will just be the three of us this year. I stopped chewing, looked at my dad. He kept eating. Victoria smiled, that thin, practiced smile. You understand, Ethan. Tyler still believes in Santa. He needs the magic. Your presence complicates things. I waited for my father to speak. He wiped his mouth with his napkin. Slow. Deliberate. Finally looked at me. Your mother's right, son. You're 15 now. You're mature enough to understand. I corrected him. Stepmother. Victoria's smile tightened. Don't be rude. I went upstairs. Didn't slam the door. Didn't cry. Just sat on my bed in the room that used to be a home office before Tyler needed the master bedroom, and I stared at the photo of my real mother on the nightstand. Sarah. Dead from cancer when I was 9. That's when everything started disappearing. First her, then me. 3 days later, Christmas Eve, I waited in my room, heard them downstairs, wrapping presents, Tyler asking questions. Victoria's voice, warm with him, never with me. I thought maybe they'd change their minds. Maybe my dad would knock and tell me to come down. At 11:47 p.m., I heard the car. My chest tightened. They came back. I stood at the top of the stairs. The back door opened. Tyler giggling. Victoria shushing him. My father's low voice. They passed the staircase without looking up, walked straight to their bedrooms. I stood there 20 minutes, waiting to be seen. I wasn't. Christmas morning, the house was empty. Note on the fridge in Victoria's handwriting, gone to Aspen. Tyler wanted snow. Money for pizza in the drawer. Back the 27th. No signature from my dad. Not even an initial. I sat in the dark kitchen. Stared at the Christmas tree in the living room. 17 presents under it. All labeled for Tyler. One small box with my name. I opened it later. Socks. That's what abandonment feels like. Not dramatic, not screaming. Just sitting in a dark kitchen at 15, realizing the people who should love you simply don't. And worse, they don't feel bad about it. 7 p.m. Someone knocked. I opened the door. Mrs. Margaret Chen, Maggie, the elderly widow next door. She looked at me, then past me into the darkness. Where are they? Aspen. She didn't ask why I wasn't with them. Just said, get your coat. I had Christmas dinner at her place, small house, warm, smelled like cinnamon. We barely talked. She asked once, why did you stay? I said, I wasn't invited. She nodded, put more potatoes on my plate. At the end of the night, she said something I'd carry forever. Dignity isn't being loved, Ethan. It's knowing when to stop begging for it. I didn't understand it then, but I would. The pattern repeated. Christmas 1999, they went to Cancun. I stayed with Maggie. Christmas 2000, I bought my dad a watch. Left it wrapped under the tree. Came back after the holiday, found it opened. Victoria had given it to Tyler. When I asked why, she said, he liked it. You don't mind sharing, do you? I threw the watch in the trash. Christmas 2001, my dad tried talking to me. Asked if I'd miss home when I went to college. I said, which home? He had no answer. Victoria called him away. He went. August 2002, I left for college. Full scholarship to University of Illinois. Maggie helped me pack. My father offered money. I refused. I learned not to depend on you. Victoria stood in the doorway smiling. Tyler still asleep. No one hugged me goodbye, except Maggie. She whispered, fly, Ethan, never look back. I didn't. College was oxygen. No one knew my story. I reinvented myself. Worked 3 jobs. Spent holidays alone or with Maggie. Built something that felt like a life. Graduated in 2006. Maggie came to the ceremony. My father didn't. Tyler had a soccer match. I stood on that stage holding my diploma and felt something crack open inside me. Not pain, relief. I didn't need his approval anymore. I started a blog in 2006, Unsaid Truths, wrote about families that damage you quietly, about the kind of neglect that doesn't leave bruises. It exploded. Thousands of people saying, "This is my story too." I turned it into a podcast in 2008. By 2012, 500,000 listeners. By 2020, top 10 in America. Sponsors. Money, success, and zero contact with my father. I blocked his number, changed addresses without telling him. Once he tried reaching me on LinkedIn. "Son, I miss you. Can we talk?" I didn't respond. 2 weeks later, another message. "Tyler's struggling. I need advice." I blocked him there too. Maggie asked me once, "Do you regret cutting them off?" I said, "They wanted me gone. I gave them what they wanted." "And what did you want?" I didn't answer. 9 years of silence. I built an empire teaching people how to set boundaries, how to walk away from toxic love, how to choose themselves. I became the voice people trusted when their own families failed them, and every single episode, I meant it. I believed it, but I never told them it was my story too. January 2024. I was recording an episode about forgiving parents who abandon you. Professional, calm, authoritative. My phone rang mid-session. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. Silence, then breathing, then a voice I hadn't heard in 9 years. "Ethan, it's me, my father." I hung up. He called 6 more times over 2 days. I ignored them all. On the 7th call, he left a voicemail. I listened to it 3 times before I could delete it. "Sons, I'm sick, cancer, stage 4, doctors say 6 months. I need to talk to you. Please." I sat there staring at my phone. Felt nothing. Then everything. Then nothing again. Maggie's health had been failing. She was 84 now, in a wheelchair, but her mind was sharp. I went to see her, told her about the calls. "Are you going to see him?" she asked. "Why would I?" "Because you need to." "I don't need anything from him." She looked at me the way she had that first Christmas. "This isn't about him, Ethan, it's about you. You need to look him in the eyes and decide who you want to be." I didn't want to go, but Maggie had never steered me wrong. I did some research. Found my stepmother's obituary. Victoria had died 6 months ago. Heart attack, he never told me. Why would he? I wasn't family. I drove to my old neighborhood, parked across from the house. Different family living there now. A father pushing his kid on a swing in the yard. I watched them and felt absolutely nothing. I called my father back. He answered before the first ring finished. "Hello? It's me." He broke. Actually sobbed. "Son, I thought you'd never." "Don't call me son. You lost that right. I'm calling because someone I trust said I should." "Where are you?" "St. Mary's, the care facility on—" "I know where it is. I'll come tomorrow. Once. That's all I'm promising." "Thank you, thank you." I hung up. That night, I stood in front of my bathroom mirror practicing what I'd say. "You abandoned me. You chose her. You erased me." But the words felt empty. Maggie said I needed to look in his eyes. I just didn't know what I'd see there. The next morning, I sat in the St. Mary's parking lot for 20 minutes, hands gripping the steering wheel. Finally forced myself inside. The receptionist smiled. "Visiting?" "Ethan Carter. I'm here for Robert Carter. Room 14. He's been waiting." I walked down that hallway like I was walking toward my own execution. I knocked. "Come in." I pushed the door open. There he was, my father, 70 pounds lighter than I remembered, tubes running out of his arms, oxygen line in his nose, hair almost gone, but the same eyes. He tried sitting up. I said, "Don't." I stayed by the door, 3 feet between us. Might as well have been the Grand Canyon. He started crying immediately. "You came. You actually came." I said I would. I thought you were lying." "I don't lie. I learned from watching you that lies destroy families, so I avoid them." Silence. The machine beside his bed beeped. He wiped his eyes with a tissue. I noticed there were no photos on his nightstand. No flowers. No cards. No evidence anyone had visited. "Where's Tyler?" I asked. He looked down. "He doesn't come often." Define often. 3 times. In 2 months. I laughed. It came out bitter. "The golden child. 3 visits." My father's hands shook. I know I don't deserve your time. You don't. But I need to say, I'm sorry. I crossed my arms. For what, specifically? Everything. Not good enough. Specifics. He coughed, winced. For Christmas. All those Christmases. For choosing Victoria. For abandoning you. Keep going. For not being the father you needed. The father I deserved, I corrected. Yes, the father you deserved. I asked the question that had lived in my chest for 15 years. Why now? Why call me after 9 years? Because I'm dying. So this is about your guilt, your conscience, making yourself feel better before you go. He shook his head weakly. No, it's about you deserving to hear the truth. I deserved to hear it 20 years ago when I spent Christmas alone at 15, when you watched her erase me and said nothing. He was fully crying now. I wasn't. I pulled the chair closer but didn't sit. I'm going to ask you questions. You're going to answer honestly. You owe me that much. He nodded. Did you love me? Yes. More than you loved her? Long pause. Too long. No. The truth hit different than I expected. Not painful, just clarifying. Why not? Because she helped me forget your mother. And you... He stopped, gathered himself. You reminded me of everything I lost. So you hated me. No. I feared you. That stopped me. Feared me? Looking at you meant seeing Sarah, seeing my failure as a husband, as a father. You were proof I couldn't protect the people I loved. I stood there processing that. So you chose to protect yourself instead. He didn't answer. Didn't need to. Was it her idea? I asked. To exclude me? The Christmases, but yes, that was Victoria's idea. But I agreed, that's on me, I was weak. Did Tyler know? Tyler thinks you chose to leave. I never corrected him. Of course you didn't. I turned toward the door. My father's voice stopped me. Ethan, please, I need to know, can you forgive me? I looked back at him. This small, dying man in a hospital bed who had once been my entire world. No, I said, I can't forgive you, but I can give you something else. What? Permission to let go. You don't need my forgiveness to die in peace. What you need to know is that despite you, I'm okay. I built a good life. I have people who love me. Real love. Not the conditional kind you offered. I did love you. You loved the idea of being a good father, but you didn't do the work. There's a difference. I opened the door. Will you come back? He asked. No. The funeral? No. I understand. Do you? Because I'm not doing this to hurt you. I'm doing this because I finally learned what you never could. How to choose myself. I walked out, didn't look back. In my car, I called Maggie. How do you feel? She asked. Free, I said. I looked him in the eyes and saw a stranger. He has no power over me anymore. Good, she said. That's what you needed. 2 months later, my phone rang. Tyler. He's dead, he said. I was in the middle of editing a podcast episode. When? Last night. Passed in his sleep. Good. I hope it was painless. Silence on his end, then. The funeral's Thursday, you coming? No. Jesus Christ, Ethan. He was our father. He was a DNA donor. There's a difference. Tyler's voice got hard. You really are cold, aren't you? I'm protected. I learned the difference. I hung up. I didn't go to the funeral. Worked that day like any other. That evening, Tyler left me a voicemail. I listened to it once. 11 people showed up. 11. Some neighbors. 2 guys from his accounting firm. Me. That's it. No friends. He died alone, Ethan. Just like you're going to. I deleted it. But I thought about what he said. My father died alone because he pushed away everyone who could have loved him. I live alone by choice. Surrounded by people who chose me back. There's a universe of difference. A week later, a certified letter arrived from a law firm. My father's will. I almost threw it away unopened. But curiosity won. Inside was a handwritten letter. Ethan, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I don't expect you at the funeral. I didn't earn the right to your presence in life. I don't deserve it in death. I'm leaving Tyler the house and car. For you, there's a box. It's with my lawyer. Take it or burn it. Your choice. Inside is everything I kept. Photos, your childhood drawings, birthday cards. I saved it all, even when Victoria told me to throw it away. There are also 47 letters. 1 for every birthday and Christmas I missed after you left. I wrote them, never sent them. Didn't have the courage. I don't ask for forgiveness. But I want you to know, I thought about you every single day, and I hated myself for my cowardice. Live well. You were always stronger than me. Dad. I read it twice, folded it, put it in a drawer. He kept everything. For 20 years he kept pieces of me, and never said a word. I went to the lawyer's office, picked up the box, took it home, put it in my closet, didn't open it. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Because here's what I learned. I don't need his letters to validate my pain. My pain is real because I lived it, and my healing is real because I chose it. But 3 months later, I made a decision. I was going to tell this story, all of it, on my podcast. The wound I'd kept hidden for 20 years. I was finally ready to let the world see. My team thought I was making a mistake. Ethan, are you absolutely sure about this? My producer, Jennifer, asked. We were sitting in my office, the box from my father's lawyer on the desk between us, still unopened. I've kept this story for 20 years, I said. Secrets poison everything they touch. It's time. But your audience, they trust you. What if this changes how they see you? Then they see me, the real me, not the version I've been selling. She didn't look convinced. When do you want to record? Tonight. I spent the afternoon writing notes, not a script, just anchors, moments I needed to hit. The Christmas at 15, Maggie, the hospital, the funeral I didn't attend. I didn't want it to sound rehearsed. I wanted it to sound like what it was, a confession. That evening I sat in my studio alone. No producer, no engineer, just me and the microphone. I put on my headphones, stared at the red record button for a full minute. Then I pressed it. Hi, this is Ethan Carter. If you've been listening to Unsaid Truths for any length of time, you know I talk about family dysfunction, emotional abandonment, the courage it takes to walk away from people who hurt you. But I've never told you why I know these things. I've never told you my story. I took a breath. It shook. This is that story. For the next hour and 40 minutes, I told them everything. The dinner table, the empty house on Christmas morning, Maggie saving me, the 9 years of silence, my father's deathbed confession that wasn't really a confession at all, just excuses wrapped in apologies. I told them about the box I still hadn't opened. I told them about Tyler calling me cold. I told them the truth. I'm not cold. I'm protected. There's a difference. When I finished, I sat in silence for 10 seconds, then said, "Thank you for listening. For the first time in my life, I told the whole truth." I stopped recording. My hands were shaking. We published it 3 days later. In 24 hours, it had 2 million downloads. The comments came in thousands. This is my story. I thought I was alone. Thank you for saying what I couldn't. People sent messages about their own absent fathers, mothers who chose new families, siblings who got the love they were denied. I read every single one, and I realized something. My pain had been universal all along. A week after the episode dropped, I came home to find the box exactly where I'd left it, in my closet, locked away. I sat on my bedroom floor and stared at it for 20 minutes. Then I opened it. Inside, exactly as my father's letter had promised, photos of me as a kid. Chubby cheeks, missing teeth, superhero t-shirts. Most of them included my mother, Sarah. Her smile. God, I'd forgotten how much I looked like her. There were drawings I'd made in elementary school, crayon stick figures labeled me and Dad, pencil sketches of dinosaurs, a watercolor painting of our old house. I didn't remember making any of these. Birthday cards. "Happy birthday, Daddy, I'm 7 today. To the best dad ever," written in my child handwriting. Each one had been saved, preserved, and at the bottom a stack of envelopes, 47 of them, each labeled with a date. I opened the first one, December 25th, 2006. "Ethan, you're 23 today. I don't know where you are. I don't know if you're happy, if you're safe, if you ever think about me. I hope you don't. I hope you've built a life so full of love that there's no room left for me in it. I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough to be your father when it mattered. Merry Christmas. Dad." I opened another. My birthday, 2010. "Ethan, 30 today. I saw your podcast listed in the paper. Top 100 in the country. I wanted to call and tell you I'm proud. But I have no right to be proud. I didn't build you. You built yourself. Despite me. I'm sorry." Another. Christmas 2015. "Ethan, I heard you on the radio yesterday. They were interviewing you about family estrangement. You were articulate, compassionate, everything I taught you not to be. Somehow, You learned it anyway. I'm glad, even if I'll never get to tell you. I read all 47 letters. It took 3 hours. Every single one was an apology he never had the courage to send. Every single one was proof that he'd thought about me, remembered me, carried me, but never reached out. And that's the thing that broke me. Not the words, the cowardice. He loved me. I believe that now, but he loved his comfort more. I put the letters back in the box, closed it, put it back in the closet. They weren't treasure. They were evidence of a man who felt everything and did nothing. 2 weeks later, my phone rang. Tyler. I almost didn't answer, but something made me. What? I need help. His voice was different, smaller. I'm in trouble, Ethan. What kind of trouble? Money. The house Dad left me. It's mortgaged to hell. His medical bills wiped out everything. I'm going to lose it. So, sell it. I can't. I owe more than it's worth. Silence. I know you have money, Tyler said. The podcast. The book deal. I'm not asking for much, just enough to... No. Ethan, please, we're brothers. Half-brothers, and you never treated me like family. Why would I treat you like it now? I was a kid. I didn't understand what was happening. You're 31 now. You understand perfectly. And you're still choosing to ask me for money instead of figuring it out yourself. You're really going to let me lose everything? You didn't have a problem with me losing everything when we were kids. I slept in a converted office while you got the master bedroom. I spent Christmases alone while you got 17 presents. You watched me disappear and never said a word. That wasn't my fault. No, it was Dad's and Victoria's, but you benefited from it. You didn't question it, you just enjoyed being the favorite. He was quiet for a long time, then I listened to your podcast. Good for you. You made me sound like a villain. I barely mentioned you. Exactly. You erased me. Just like you say Dad erased you. That hit differently than I expected. I sat with it. You're right, I finally said. I did erase you, because you were never really there to begin with. You were a kid who got love I didn't. That's not your fault. But you're an adult now who thinks he's owed something from the brother he ignored for 2 decades. That is your fault. So that's it? You're just done with me. I was done with you 15 years ago, Tyler. You're just noticing now. I hung up, blocked his number, felt nothing. 3 months later, Maggie called me. Her voice was weak. Ethan, honey, I need you to come see me. I drove straight there, found her in bed, smaller than I'd ever seen her. The hospice nurse said she had maybe a week. I sat beside her, held her hand. You told your story, she said. I did. How do you feel? Lighter. She smiled. Good. That's good. Maggie, I don't know how to do this without you. You've been doing it without me for years, sweetheart. You just didn't realize it. You saved me. No, I just saw you when no one else would. You saved yourself. She died 2 days later, peacefully, in her sleep. I spoke at her funeral. 200 people came. Friends, neighbors, people whose lives she'd touched quietly over decades. I said, Maggie didn't have biological children, but she raised dozens of us anyway. I was just one. She taught me that family isn't about blood. It's about showing up, about choosing someone every single day. She chose me when my own father couldn't, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to be half the person she was. After the funeral, a woman approached me, mid-30s, kind eyes. Your podcast helped me leave my family, she said. I just wanted to say thank you. I'm glad it helped. My name's Sarah, by the way. I froze. Sarah? Yeah. Why? That was my mother's name. She smiled. Small world. We started talking, got coffee, then dinner, then more. She was a therapist specializing in childhood trauma. She'd listened to my podcast for years, heard my episode about my father. You're incredibly brave, she said one night over wine. I'm not brave. I'm just tired of carrying it. That's what bravery is. 6 months later, we're still together. I'm not good at relationships. I have walls. I expect abandonment. But she's patient. You don't have to be perfect, she tells me. You just have to be honest. I'm trying. Last week I did something I've been avoiding. I went back to the box, took out my father's letters, and I scanned every single one, saved them digitally. Because even though he didn't have the courage to send them, there's still proof that I mattered. Then I put the originals back, closed the box, and this time I didn't put it in the closet. I put it in storage, not thrown away. Not destroyed, just somewhere I don't have to see every day. People keep asking me, "Did you forgive your father?" No, but I released him. Forgiveness would mean saying what he did was okay. It wasn't. But release means I'm no longer carrying his failure. He was a coward. He chose wrong. He failed me in every way that matters, and I'm okay anyway. That's the real ending. Not reconciliation. Not a deathbed reunion where everything gets fixed. The real ending is me, at 35, finally understanding that his love was never going to be enough, because it was built on fear. And I deserve better than fearful love. I deserve the kind of love Maggie gave me, the kind Sarah gives me now, the kind I give myself. If you're listening to this and you're waiting for a parent to change, waiting for them to finally see you, waiting for the apology that will make everything hurt less, stop waiting. They might change, they might not, but you can't build your peace on their transformation. You build it on your own. You choose yourself every single day. You find people who choose you back. You create the family you needed. And one day you wake up and realize you're not broken. You're not unlovable. You were just loved poorly. And that was never your fault. My father died thinking I hated him. I didn't. I just stopped needing him. Tyler thinks I'm cold. I'm not. I'm just protected. And Maggie, wherever she is, knows the truth. She was more of a parent to me than the man whose DNA I carry. That box is still in storage. Maybe I'll open it again someday. Maybe I won't. But I don't need it anymore. I don't need the letters. I don't need the apology. I don't need the closure. Because I already have what I was looking for. Peace. Not forgiveness. Peace. I'm 35 years old. I have a career I love. A woman who sees me. Friends who chose me. A community I built. And every Christmas, I think about that 15-year-old kid sitting alone in a dark kitchen. I wish I could go back and tell him, "It gets better. You're going to be okay. You're going to build something beautiful out of this pain. And one day, you're going to help millions of people do the same." But I can't go back. So instead, I'll say it to you. If you're that kid right now sitting in the dark wondering if anyone will ever choose you, they will. You will. You'll choose yourself. And that will be enough. Thank you for listening to my story. For the first time in my life, I told the whole truth, and I'm free. The box is in storage, the pain is in the past, and I'm finally at peace. Not because I forgave, but because I let go, and that made all the difference.